Welcome in Noonvale 12.
Hi Zix, how's it going? Congrats on the lettuce! And the potato! Let us commence the stream. Nice. Grats on first! Hi, Moldrum. Just getting some things loaded up. And then, we gotta get our timer going for, some drawing exercises as a warm-up. Doing good. Leg is doing marginally better today. It does remind me I need to prop up my leg so that I don't die later. I stand up after shaving and realize I've had my leg bent too long. This might be a little tricky doing this. We're gonna try. Alright, have fun. Have a good day. Let's see. I need some kind of shortcut button or something so I don't have to log into Stream Elements every time I want to start this timer. Because that's annoying. Hi, Muffin. How's it going? Counting time. After a little bit of drawing, practice, warm-up. We're gonna do that. What do we do? I gotta go into edit it every time to start it? Go into settings? Timer settings? Start? How do I just start it without having to edit, go into the edit and stuff? Hi, brother! Still at work and will be a little more as I wait for the accountants to leave, so I would be able to do the backup. You can't automatically do a backup? Color rectangle is still on screen too. Yeah, that's just so I don't white blast you guys. Should I turn it off? Is it unnecessary with just the paper? I also want, like, a redeem to autofocus the camera. I wonder if that's a thing. what if we... Let's get distracted with streamy stuff again. And actually start the accounting 40 minutes later. I'm just curious if I can set up a button. Where would I even put this button? Do I have an open slot somewhere? Yeah. Hotkey switch? Is it hotkey or hotkey switch? Can I record observing keystrokes? Wow. It's not a keystroke, so that's not how that would work. Bummer. Maybe I'll do some research on that. It'd be cool if you guys could focus my camera for me. It's not a real stream if the start of it isn't used to figure out how to stream. Yep. Okay. Alright. Anyway, well, okay. What I need to do is take some notes about things I need to do for streaming. Oh, I don't want to use this pencil. What happened to my music? There it is. Let's use HB, our standard pencil. Streaming. Reminders. Set up a redeem to auto focus camera. How to find a shortcut to start a stream elements overlay timer. All right. Goodness. Okay, let's do 10 minutes. I also want to find that video. Where'd that video be? Here it is. Okay, we're gonna start with curves. Cause I want to. Let's see, he does
curved line.
He goes from one is horizontal lines, 2 is curved lines, and then 6 is 1 is horizontal, 2 is vertical, and then he jumps to 6, which is curves. What's in between there? I know how to do that last one in StreamerBot plus OBS, but no clue with your setup. Well, that's helpful. Okay. Maybe we'll just do a few of the horizontals and vertical and then curves, and then let's actually write them down. 1 horizontals, 2 verticals. Number 6 apparently is curves.
And then wavy.
7 is waves. like this.
Lines. And after that, you can apply different lengths to your line and involve your shoulders so that you draw.
Next. Different lengths of these.
Much better. And then draw 2 points and connect those lines to practice an eye chord.
Okay. Then next. Draw 2 points and connect them. Let's start with curves. All right, start. No, I didn't save it. It still says 5. Save. Are his lines as wide as the page? One of the few things I learned about drawing on paper is making long lines by doing a few strokes lined up. But maybe that's a crutch. I did notice, I went back and watched it, and he does do like short strokes, like this. So I did practice a little bit of that yesterday. Like that. Alright, start. Alright, well let's go ahead and continue doing some of these horizontals. Like this. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing strokes like this. I think it's a pretty standard method. And then we can do some verticals. Trying to maintain equal distance. And then, I was struggling with the curves yesterday. I want to go back and look at his video and how he did the curves.
Lines, and then curved lines, and then wavy lines.
Okay. It was like just a millisecond of him doing it. So he went like, oh. He did like the short strokes again? Like I had struggled with like making them evenly. I think I do it better when it's just a single motion. I do it. I can't do it like with the strokes. I don't like that. Make chat bigger over here so I can look at you. There you go. I have a problem with it having it like a longer on the left side and then drop off too much on the right side. So it's like practicing making it even on both sides. I want to turn these into eyeballs. Alright. Waves. I'm gonna actually just take this piece of paper off, maybe. Nah, I'll just do this. Okay. So, like, waves. You just did, like, let me look. Let me see how I did that again. Just waves. I don't know what kind of... what I'm supposed to get out of doing waves. Just like that? Didn't know Excel had mods. What are you doing? Great question. I am leaning over. I just noticed how much my model was leaning. I am going to be doing an Excel tutorial for personal budgeting, making a tool in Excel. But first, we're doing drawing warm-ups because I want to be an artist. And a video was shared with me on like easy beginner drawing exercises. So we're starting with that. And I have a timer up in the corner for how long I should do these drawing exercises. Right now we're working on we're working on waves for some reason. I don't know what I'm supposed to be getting out of this. I don't know. I think you're already above beginner level. I don't feel that way. Okay, what's next? Different lengths of these. Oh, draw 2 points and connect them. So we're going to draw 2 points and then connect them in a straight line. Like that. Let me see.
And after that, you can apply different lengths to your line and involve your shoulders so that you draw much better. And then draw 2 points and connect those lines to practice hand-eye coordination. The whole point of this exercise is to not only practice the fundamental unit of a drawing, which is line, but also to practice control your drawing tool, which, by the way, is not your pencil or your pen, but your hand.
Okay. So he's just like putting random dots around. And then you want... I think he just did a single... because he was using it with a mark... he was doing a marker with this exercise. Like one of these skinny little felt tip maybe doodads. And it was just like single line. How's it going, Loomis? What you up to? Oh, I missed. I'm gonna be leaning over a lot. What did you do to your thumb? So, I was... let me see. What was I doing? I was trying to get my food processor out, and I have a box, like it's just an open box of all the doodads, the attachments and things. And I went to grab the box out, and I like ran my thumb into a sharp bit, and it like cut into like my nail. It wasn't too bad, but my nail ripped. Well, my nail like cut, and then I kept catching my nail, and it was like ripping more. So the wound's healed, but I'm just trying to stop my nail from ripping even more. Another thing that I'm not qualified to critique, but I know is an artist thing, whether you're drawing from the wrist, elbow, or shoulder. And maybe a notebook unevenly sitting half on a laptop isn't the most stable drawing surface, angle, posture. Yeah, probably. Hi Draco, how's it going? I went and saw Patton Oswalt at Go Bananas Friday night. Cool. You're good? Awesome. Oh, that was a good one. That was a nice line. I'm doing a little drawing practice before we get started. I missed that one. Because I want to be I want to be an artist. I wouldn't even say a better artist. I want to be an artist. Just because I drew gritty and stream in Aseprite doesn't mean I'm an artist. Alright. Oh, that was good. I don't have enough practice to call myself an artist yet. Oh, that was pretty good. Boo! Boo! These aren't going too bad. Alright, timer's up. We did 10 minutes of little drawing practice warm-ups. You did art in Aseprite. Making art makes you an artist. I could be better. I could use proper techniques and not just making stuff up. Not calling yourself an artist is the first step to not praising your own art. Alright. Let's get started with what we're doing here today. Oh wait, no, I don't want window capture. I want screen capture. Screen capture? Yes, this screen. Done. Why aren't you showing up? Oh, because I had the camera in the way. Artists already always hate anything they drew more than 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't say I hate anything I draw. I just know it can be better and done properly with proper techniques that I don't know how to do yet. Oh no. My dad's texting me, asking if I'm home today. Yes. Yes, I am home today. We might have stream interrupted by my dad coming over. Let me see what he says. I also have an 11 o'clock meeting that I have to be in because my boss signed me up to be on a committee thing, but I think I'm not going to be participating in it. I'm just going to be listening in, so I'll probably, depending on if my dad comes over, I'll probably turn that meeting on and just sit in there muted while I continue streaming. Oh gosh, my mouse ears are gonna be way in the way. And my transparency block needs corrected. Okay. We'll see how much the mouse is in the way. I may come over later and get that saw. Oh, he wants to get a miter saw out of the garage. Okay. Just let me know when you're on your way. Plenty of space on the right. Just make a column wider. Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to be using a lot of real estate on this page. Okay. So, let's summarize what we worked on last time. We put together some key concepts. Oh my gosh. Some formulas we worked on. Some other features of Excel we did. Some financial tips. Something else I wanted to talk about is retirement savings. But we'll get into that. Oops. Later. Because it's never too early to think about retirement and saving for it. By the time you are ready to retire and you start thinking about it, you're way too late. Okay. Then we made categories of things that we want to identify for our budget. Thinking about having a kid, you should have already started a retirement account for them. Well, maybe a college savings plan. Here, let's move that over. So we started out a skeleton of our budget. Then we started a place where we record all of our transactions, categorize our transactions, and put together totals into our account so that we can balance our accounts. Kind of like balancing a checkbook. Let's do this. This is where we balance our checkbook. Oh, and we also did some filters. Let me clear these filters off. Clear! My wife is a fan of using Quicken for this. Yes, Quicken is a great product. If you want to go that route. I am a great fan of Excel just because I love using Excel, and there's more flexibility where you can, like, I mean, it's really a sandbox. You can do whatever you want in here. But Quicken is also a great, easy tool also. My mom used that for years. She probably still uses it. But I just prefer this way. And then I'll be sharing out this tool once we're done building it for anyone that wants to use it. Now, we have some transactions in here. We're pretending that today is January 31st. We have our past transactions that we put in here for January. We also put in future transactions for February because we know things that are going to be hitting our checking and our credit card. I've been using a template I got on Etsy. Oh, that's cool, Spammy. That's interesting. Obviously, some of these transactions already happened. Some of them have not happened yet. And the formula we built is accounting for all the transactions that we put in here. It's summing all of it, which is not accurate. That's where the status column comes into play. We're gonna mark some of these with a status. Giorgio's Groundhog Daying. He's stuck on January 31. So, first of all, we are going to sort this by date. And we had placed filters on our column headers. So we can click this little drop down here. And we can sort oldest to newest. There we go. So everything up to January 31st happened. So we're going to leave the status of those blank. Everything after that, we can mark with whatever you want. I use an X. Oh, I like to make that centered too. I just use an X to signify it's not happened yet. Now, we need to build a filter or we need to build our formula to exclude anything that has this X marked on it. And then, so as days go on, like tomorrow, rent's gonna come out. I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna log into my checking account. I'm gonna make sure that it is $800 that did come out, and then I just delete that X to account for it in my total. So that's how I do that. So let's adjust our formulas here to remove any pending transactions. So what we started with, I wish I could make this formula text bigger, but it is what it is. What we did here was we did sum ifs. We're gonna sum if singular. We're gonna change that to sum ifs plural. So it's only going to sum total things when multiple conditions are met. Currently, when you use a singular sum if formula, it's only checking against one criteria, which we had for our account. So anywhere where it says checking and count, it's gonna total up that amount here for the checking account, and so on. So we're gonna alter this formula. We're gonna change this to a sum ifs. We're gonna put an S on the end of that. The sum range is, we did income. Our first criteria range, again, is the checking account. And we're going to match the criteria to this word checking over here. Our second criteria range is the status column. And the criteria is we only want blank cells to be accounted for here. So we're going to do two quotations with nothing in between them, and then close off that parenthesis. And then we're going to do the same. So that was our income column. Now we're going to do the same for our expense column, which was this last one over here. Sum ifs, we're going to add an S on the end to sum if. Sum range is the expense column. Criteria is the account column. We're going to match that to the word checking. The second criteria range is the status column. And the criteria is going to be blank cells only. And then enter. Okay. So that changed our amount, if I undo that, from 4,000 to 2,500. So it correctly excluded these fields down here that have an X on them. Now we're going to drag that down to our other accounts here. And there we go. We'll save our work. We actually did overwrite our starting amount. We had $1,100 as our starting amount in checking. We had $2,000 in savings. So we want to fix that. And we're going to ignore that the formula is different. And then we did something different for the credit card. Because we don't have income in our credit card. What we can do is, we want to take out this beginning amount because we're pretending that we just started using our credit card, so we don't have a balance to start with. And we can switch our income and expense columns. There we go. Okay. So let's verify that these amounts are working, these formulas are working correctly. We're going to do a filter. We're going to filter out any of the X transactions. We're going to filter to just the checking. So if we take 1,100 and we add that together. That's 3,500. 3,500 minus that, minus the 2 transactions that came out of our checking already. And that equals what our formula did. So that means our formula is working correctly. Let's check the savings account so we can change our filter from checking to savings. And all we did in savings was we accrued interest. So 2,000 plus the 514 of interest, so that's working correctly. And the credit card should be just the sum total of transactions in January, which is correct, 383.84. Now, let's clear our filters here. So that is now done. And let's start building our budget page now. So we're gonna leave this right now. Well, we're gonna be using this data to build our budget. So, or at least track our budget. So, we have our income and our expenses and our credit card payments. We do want to, let's go ahead and add a line here for our credit card payment. No, we're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to that. Let's build our budget. So, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna put in some column headers for every month. So January, February, March, and so on. You can drag a series to fill a series. So if I highlight January, February, March, it's gonna automatically fill in the rest of the months if I drag them over. And my mouse's ears. Oh, I got a spam call. Okay. Now we're going to be doing some more sum-if formulas. And we want to sum-if based on the month that the transaction happens and the category. Hi, brother. How's it going? So we're going to be building some formulas here. Yeah, some. Now, we want to, I don't know if it's gonna grab based on the text. We could try. We might need to put in a number here also. Let's see what happens. So because we set up drop-down lists for our categories, we know that we can match the spelling of these categories to our budget page, and it should sum up correctly. So if we do, we're going to do sum ifs again, because we're going to be summing based on multiple criteria. Sum ifs, and then our sum range is going to be, this is our income, so we're going to select the income column. And I'm going to go ahead and put tags. Oops. Tags. Oh my gosh. Can I not F4 this? Let me F4! Do I have to click the function? Oh my gosh. Alright. I had to click the function key. Sometimes I give some ifs, sometimes I don't. So I put in dollar signs next to every column letter, so that that's going to lock in that column when I drag it to the right. Otherwise, if I didn't do that, my column value would move along the same, like along with the other columns. I don't know if that makes sense. That's a short version of trying to explain that. So I'm gonna lock that column in. Our criteria range is gonna be the month. I'm also gonna lock that in. Add a long history with Excel. You can say we have a history of rows and columns. Our criteria for that is gonna be January. We're gonna try that. Now I'm gonna lock that in on the row. So I just want the number 5 to have a dollar sign in front of it. Because I want when I drag this formula across, I want it to move along with the months. But when I drag it down, I don't want the formula to drag down with all these other rows, if that makes sense. So that's our first criteria. Our second criteria is going to be our budget category. So the criteria range for that is going to be column G, where our category lives. We're going to lock that in. Our criteria for that is going to be this field here, and we're going to lock in that column, but not the row, because I would want the row to fill down as I drag the formula down. So we're going to put that on E, and then we're going to close that off. Okay. I don't think it's going to work with the January. It's not like recognizing that January is 1, so we're going to add in the number 1 here. 2, 3, and use that. And I'm just gonna drag this down and use that instead. There we go, now it works. And I'm gonna format that with a comma and decimals, and then we're gonna drag this over. It puts these hashtag marks in because the number is longer than the column width, so I'm going to highlight all these columns, double click in between them, and it automatically resizes it according to what the content of the cell is. Obviously these are too skinny, so I'm just gonna make them all the same. There we go. Okay. We got some jazz going. So I'm gonna highlight all these and drag down our formula. And now it's automatically grabbing that 514 in interest. And, whoops, and nothing else there, so that worked properly. And then let's go ahead and put a total in here. We can click this auto sum button, except it is gonna grab that number 1, so we wanna just drag that down and not include that. And then let's format that with some lines and drag that down. And we can bold that, and we've got our total monthly income. Okay? Now let's continue this to our expenses. And we should be able to copy this formula, except we want only the expense column instead. Also, I propose a thingy to think about. Maybe in next month estimation column with spending from past month. So yeah, we are gonna do we're gonna do something about that. And we'll get there. I want to change column I to column J for expenses. Hi, kitty. Congrats on second. So we got our $800 rent in there, and that should continue through there. And then we can drag that down. And I'm gonna move this credit card payment down. So we can put in our total. We click this auto sum. And we put in some formatting there. Now we have our total expenses. Okay. So this is a nice little start. We can do a lot here. I'm gonna bold that. And we can give some ideas. So something I like to do is next to this, let's build a budget of what we expect or what we want to happen every month. And then we can compare that to what actually happened. You got a shovel for your dirt. Very nice. So let's call this column monthly budget. So with our pay, we know we're paid a steady rate, and we do expect to make $2,400 a month. And miscellaneous deposits are not anything planned, so that's gonna stay 0. Move this formatting. We don't necessarily... I mean, I guess we could take a look at what our average interest is and expect it. Maybe on average we get $5 a month in interest. And then we can sum that. So that's in general what our monthly income we expect to be. Currently, our rent is $800 a month. Now, you'll be able to identify a budget better as you go along, where you get it, like by tracking your expenses this way by categories, you can get a sense of how much you spend in gas every month, how much you spend in groceries every month, etc. But let's do this. We obviously don't want to spend more than we make. So we're totaling our income, we're totaling our expenses. Now let's subtract the two. Let's call this a net column, or net row, where we take the difference. We take the income minus the expense. So we know how much money we have left after our expected income and expenses, or we know how much we need to cut from our spending to be able to not overspend. Let's say we on average we probably spend $50 a month on gas, $200. I'm just going off of what we spent in January. Dining out, how much do we want to budget ourselves for that? Like $40. Entertainment, we have Netflix, but maybe we also buy some Steam games and stuff. How much do we want to give ourselves for entertainment expenses? I noticed that my mouse is covering this. There we go. Maybe we give ourselves $50 a month in entertainment expenses. We know how much our internet bill is. We can just put that amount in. An average of... Oh, I forgot to put in water for our utilities. We have electric. We don't have water. Let's say our water bill comes out on the 7th also. That comes out of our checking account, and it's in the utilities category. Water. And in January, our water bill was, how much is my water bill? Oh yeah. Let's say our water bill is like $60 and we expect it to be roughly the same next month. It can fluctuate though depending on your water usage. Now, this January transaction actually happened, so we don't want to mark it pending, but the February one will mark it pending, so that our checking account balance is correct. And then we can sort that by date. And then that's gonna be factored into our budget. So you can see our budget, it's calculating actual expenses and future pending expenses. So you can estimate what your regular bills are going to be at least. You can pre-plan those throughout the year. We can even pre-plan this that's what we should do, is throughout this whole year, just go ahead and put in what our expected paychecks are going to be, what our rent payment's going to be throughout the year, and just build our monthly budget for the whole year with our known expenses. And then as we go along, as we spend on other things, groceries, gas and stuff, you can compare what your budgeted amount is to what actually happened as time goes on. Utilities with electric and water, we can estimate that was put in $175 a month. Our phone bill is pretty standard at $30 a month. Household expenses, that I find personally that can be all over the place. Maybe your vacuum breaks and you need to buy a new one, or you need to buy filters for your HVAC or whatever. But you ought to put some kind of placeholder number, and again, you'll be able to track over time what your average is as you keep an eye on your transactions and they total here to see what your trends are. Let's go ahead and just put in like $200 a month for miscellaneous household necessities. Clothing, I wouldn't say that's necessarily a monthly expense you'd want to budget for. Maybe like you go shopping for clothes a couple times a year. Me, I'm kind of, I'll buy some clothes kind of regularly because I just do. What if we do like $50 a month? You buy a new shirt or a pair of pants every now and then. Travel. Again, that's not necessarily a monthly expense, but if you plan on traveling regularly, I mean, we broke it out because it doesn't really fit anywhere else, but it will pop up here as you have travel expenses. And we're also going to do a grand total. Actually, no. Yes. We do a grand total, and then we also do an average. We'll fill that in later. Let's continue doing this. Vehicle. That's another one where it's hard to determine because sometimes you'll have your vehicle registration, or you got to get an oil change, or you need to buy something like wiper blades or whatever. Pets. We didn't have any pet expenses this month. Maybe we have a cat, okay? Everybody likes cats. We bought cat food this month on our credit card. And let's say cat food was $20. There. Now we have a cat expense in here. Let's say we budget, I don't know, this is another one of those things where you just have to keep track over time what your average expenses are, and then maybe fill in this when you have a better idea of what your monthly expenses are. I have to take Boomer outside and I don't want to, ew! Do you have shoveled sidewalks? Can you put a coat on him, or is his natural coat good enough? So what's gonna help us determine what our monthly expenses are actually, and like how we need to adjust our spending habits, is we build an average. What's the average amount over these months? Put little booties on them. Aw, cute. We can also do a grand total and see how we ended up over the year. So let's do a sum of this whole year. And then you can get an idea, like maybe you have a bad habit of going to Starbucks every day, and you don't really understand the impact of that spending. But if you start doing something like this, where you have like a Starbucks category, and you see the trend over time in like a total amount, or like Twitch. I think a lot of you are probably spend too much on Twitch and don't realize it. This kind of practice will help you realize it. So make a Twitch category, or build that into your entertainment category, and track that over time. Make an average. Here, let's do our average column. Now the average is going to be skewed if you include months that actually haven't happened yet. So we're only going to put in, I mean technically just January, because only January happened. But as months go by, you can drag this over to include months that have actually happened to see how your average is going. And that will help you determine how your budget's going as well. And then we can put, we can take this net amount over here and put that on every month to see the net of our spending and income on a monthly basis, and then on a grand total, and then on an average. So that goes back to what Brother had said about an estimate. You can build in your estimates for every month. Here, let's go ahead and do a little bit of that. So let's build out our yearly budget. So we know we have rent came out on January 1st, came out on February 1st. Let's continue that for every month of this year and budget the whole year. So I'm going to highlight these two and continue that for the rest of the year. It's going to be coming out of my checking account. I'm going to take the checking, just copy that down here. Rent, copy that down. It's rent, that's the description. And it's going to be $800 every time, unless, you know, there's a rent hike. These transactions haven't happened yet, so I'm going to put an X to mark them as pending, so that they don't affect our current account balances, but they flow in to our budget. And we can expect to spend $9,600 this year in rent. And on average, it is $800. You can do that with your income. Oops. Let's say, so we put in our paycheck on the 10th. We get paid on the 10th and the 25th of every month. And then we put that in for February also as pending transactions. So let's say 3/10/2026, 4/10/2026, 5/10/2026, and then drag that down to fill the series. The 10th of every month. Whoop. We got some formatting issues, so I'm going to double click that to fix that. gonna go into our checking. This is Giorgio Paycheck. Paycheck. And we're gonna estimate that we're gonna continue to be paid $1,200. And then we're going to put in our second pay of the month. Actually, just copy all of that. There we go. So now we have that built in, and as you build that throughout the year, you can, you know, see what your expected, like, on average, or I don't know, a good idea of how much your income is, how much your expenses are, and what the net is. Obviously, it's going to be affected as actual transactions happen, but you can keep an eye on it. Let's see. We also want to make a plan for saving money. So if we make on average $2,400 a month, and we expect our expenses to be roughly $1,600 a month, that leaves us with a net of $750 a month. That would be a target savings goal. Try to save that much every month. Put that into a savings account. And we can keep track of how much we save. This is how I do it. I make a new category. I put in, I call it savings leftover pay. So the amount of pay I have left over after my current and expected expenses. And then, but sometimes you will spend more than you make, and you need to withdraw that money out of savings to pay your bills. So we'll do a savings withdraw. And then we can total up those amounts that you either are able to put away or have to extract from every month and see what the net of your savings habits are. So we're going to come back over here, and we're going to change our data validation to include those new categories. We're going to go to data validation, and oh, I selected the wrong column. The selection contains more than one type of validation. Erase current settings and continue? Yeah, I guess. List. Over here, select all these. Okay. So, we should now have an option. Yep, so it includes those. So, we want to be able to calculate from... Oh, I didn't put these as pending items. We want to be able to determine how much we're able to save, because we have to be able to determine what our upcoming expenses are. Sort oldest, newest. Because we don't want to put too much into savings and then overdraft our account because we have upcoming bills that we're expecting to come out. So we want to keep track of that. I'm gonna move this over here. We're gonna put in a little calculator to determine how much we can save or how much we need to extract from savings to pay our bills. And I'm gonna do that over here. I thought you said we're off work. We are off work. We're doing fun stuff. This is fun. Hi, Core. How's it going? We're off work, and now we have time to do fun stuff. So I want to make sure I don't overdraft my account. So I want to always keep a certain amount of money in my checking account. I want to make sure I always have at least $500 in my checking account as like a safety net amount. What are you doing at work? How dare you work? Let's do 500. And then we want to know what upcoming income are we expecting? Upcoming income. That's gonna affect our bank balance. Why are you working? This is not a work day. Then we have upcoming expenses. Well, let's say bills, because those are the things we can predict and that we want to make sure we have money in our account to pay. That's how I budget, just get more money. That's a strategy. And then we're gonna calculate how much we should save from that. So, how do we determine what's upcoming income and bills? We can put a different status on those. So, obviously, all of January has happened. But what are our immediate upcoming bills that we need to make sure we have money for? Rent. So we can change the status from X to upcoming. And we also have electric and water coming up. This is all expenses that we know are going to be coming up, that are going to be hitting our checking account before our next paycheck. And we can sum total those here with a sum if. Who's Giorgio? That is our pretend person that we're budgeting for. So we're gonna do sum if. Our range is gonna be the status column. Our criteria is gonna be upcoming. And our sum range is gonna be the income column. And we're gonna drag that down to bills, but we're gonna change the income column to the expense column, like that. So our upcoming bills in total is gonna be $960. Our rent, electric, and water. All of that is gonna be happening before our next paycheck. So, what's the calculation here for saving? We want to take our safety net plus our income, our upcoming income that we're expecting, minus our bills. Right? Or did I do that wrong? Oh, I forgot to, we also want to account for our, our current checking balance. Better would have been Robert Maria Cortez de la Luca Veladez Maria. Why? So, if we want to have $500 remaining in our checking account, with $960 available for our bills, then we could safely put $2,000 in our savings account. because that's essentially money we don't need for our bills currently. I'm trying to like do the math. Is that mathing right? Our checking account minus 500 minus bills plus upcoming income. Right? So if we have this much in our checking account, we want to make sure we have 500 of that left. Minus 500. And then we also want to have $960 left. Yeah, that math's right. Let me make sure that math's right in my own. Minus this. Minus this. Yeah, that's right. So, this is the amount of money we should be saving. Because it's money we don't need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into my bank account and I'm going to move that money over to my savings account. Today is January 31st. Checking. Category is savings, leftover pay. It's gonna be subtracting that. So we're gonna put it in the expense column as a subtraction to the account. And then we're gonna do another line to increase our savings account. It's gonna be an income into this savings account. Just like that. Now, our amount to save is 0 because we have exactly enough money in our checking account to pay our upcoming bills and to have $500 left in the account. Upload pending. Your changes were saved but could not be uploaded because the server is too busy. Okay, fine. So now let's go over to our budget, and we want to be able to keep track of those transactions, so we can keep an eye on our savings trends. So I think, can we just copy? Oh wait, yeah, paste. So if we need to withdraw money from our savings account, let's say we have an unexpected expense coming up. We need to pay our car insurance. We get an email from our car insurance saying, hey, you need to renew your policy. And you're gonna be billed for that for the whole year, or for 6 months at a time, on the 6th. And it's gonna come out on your checking account. And it's going to be in our vehicle category, auto insurance, and it's going to be $350 and some change. And that's going to be an upcoming expense to our checking account. Now we can see, oh, we don't have enough money to cover our bills in our checking account. We need to withdraw from the savings account. So we're gonna make a withdrawal on the day before. We're gonna schedule a withdrawal from our savings account the day before this bill hits. So on the 5th, we're gonna do checking, savings, withdraw, for auto insurance. We wanna know why we withdrew from our savings account. Let's just round that up to $360. Oh, that's an income to our savings account. And we're gonna mark that upcoming because it hasn't happened yet. And then in our savings account, savings withdrawal for auto insurance, that's going to come out. Now we don't want to mark that as upcoming in our savings account because the upcoming bit is just to be keeping track of what's upcoming for our checking account. So we're just going to mark it as pending in the savings account. And then now we can see there's, you know, it recalculates to, there's $9 you can save. That's not a whole, like, that's not enough money for me to worry about making a whole transaction over to savings for. But just keep an eye on that savings amount of when there's a good amount of money that you'll be able to afford to save or that you need to withdraw. And then we'll come over here and we need to, we want to mark that as a negative so that we can calculate the difference. So, well, I mean, this doesn't necessarily have to be. Let's just do, I think do we want to do that here? No? Savings withdrawal. Oh, we did it in February. There we go. So let's move that down this way. And then we want to calculate the net of our savings. Let's do that over here. We don't want to make that like a category. Although I did over here. It's fine. It's fine. Equals this minus this. Drag that over. Oh, these are sum totals. Copy that down. Whoops. Why are you giving me a little flag? Don't give me a little flag. Ignore this. And then this is the average. So now we'll be able to track. I'm gonna go ahead and flag, ding, ding, ding. I want to freeze these column headers. Time to stretchy and drinky. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. Let's go over to view, freeze panes. There we go. That's better. So, we can grand total our whole savings for the year, and we can keep track of our average savings every month. So that can help you keep track, especially if you have a savings goal. That'll help you understand how much you're saving or not saving every month. What else? We have our credit card payments coming up. So we want to be able to keep track of how much that is going to be. Our credit card, let's say it's going to be paid in February. Let me sort these and filter. So now our register is getting kind of long, especially since we have put in future amounts for the whole year. That's where these filters are going to come really in handy, especially for the month. You can filter it to what your current month is, and then what your next month is. Also include blanks, because you want to be able to continue putting in transactions at the end of your register. So I'm going to click OK there. And now I just am looking at January and February with the ability to add transactions below. Our credit card is going to be due, let's say, oh, I already put it in here. I put it in here, but I didn't put in an amount yet. So we can look at our credit card statement. It's gonna total up all the transactions on your statement that's gonna be paid with the payment amount. You want to pay the full payment amount. We talked about this last time. You do not want to pay less, because you will start incurring very expensive interest, and that's where you can get into trouble with credit card debt. So pay the full amount on the statement. Let's say, and it's not going to be all of your current transactions. There's like monthly cycles. So let's say of our credit card, we're only going to be paying the first half of January, which is $141.38. So we look at our statement, and it says our credit card payment is going to be $141.38. And that's a pending transaction. It's going to be upcoming. It's after our next paycheck. And it's gonna reduce our credit card balance. So let's say, let's pretend it's now, oh, I've got 15 minutes to that meeting. Let's pretend it's now, time where that credit card gets paid. So let's say today is 2/16/2026. Every transaction before then has already happened. So we're gonna remove all these statuses because they actually happened. And we got our paycheck. Now it's time that our credit card gets paid. Let's go ahead and say came out of the account. So our credit card balance is going to be changed. It's going to be reduced by the amount of the statement. So we want to mark those credit card transactions as having been paid. So we can filter this to just our credit card account, and we can mark the transactions on our statement as paid. And it should total up to $141.38. So it should match what your statement amount is. That then reduces your credit card balance. It should match what your current account balance is. And you know which transactions are going to be on your next statement. And you could even total that so that you know what to expect, what your next statement amount is going to be. How do I do that? Let's say our next statement amount is going to be, well, it's going to be the total account balance, but at some point the monthly cycle is going to close. And let's say it's now the end of the month, 2/28, and these transactions are no longer pending. Only the first half, or the last half of January and the first half of February are going to be on our credit card statement. We know what our statement amount is going to be because we got our statement. It's just not due yet. So let's pretend it is going to be $297.05. So we can take this account balance, or total amount, minus $297.05. What? Why do we have a circular reference? Oh. What if we do it underneath? Minus $297.05. And we can start keeping track of how many transactions are going to be going toward our next statement. So that just helps you keep an eye on how much, how many transactions you're racking up on your credit card, and be able to keep track that you'll be able to afford those monthly statement balances. What else? I'm hoping this is not getting too confusing. Now that we have our credit card payment in here, we'll need to account for that here so we can keep track of how much our credit card bills are every month. So we can just copy and paste that here and drag that down. So there's our $141 credit card payment. Adult life in itself is confusing. Yeah. I just hope that this is a tool that people can find helpful. Or at least pick up some tips on how to use Excel. Occupation hazard. Oh, we can also do conditional formatting. So we can here, let's do it on our savings as an example. So we want to easily identify which months we either saved money or we didn't save money, or we had to withdraw savings. So we can highlight these values and go to Home, Conditional Formatting, Highlight Cells. Yeah, we're gonna make it red. When our savings is greater than zero, we want to make it green. We want to make it a happy green color. And when our savings is less than zero, we want to make it an angry red color. There you go. There's some conditional formatting for you. What else? We did ifs and months. We did some ifs. We did conditional formatting. We did list drop, boxes, filters, sorts. A little bit on retirement savings. So, are you going to attend your meeting with your mouse model? No. I should open up my email so I can click the join button. That's gonna be on my work laptop. Let's just take a drink of water. Now, obviously, we're talking about we're talking about saving or withdrawing from just a generic savings account at your bank. But you also want to be contributing something to a retirement savings account. That is very different. That is usually something that would be offered by your employer, mostly called a 401k. This is generally a managed investment portfolio where you have a portfolio made up of stocks, bonds, municipal bonds, corporate bonds, some things like that. And this is going to be either managed for you, or you may have some tools to be able to diversify or buy certain stocks or whatever. James Bond. This account is going to also have compounding interest over the life of the account. And I wanted to show, what is that? There's a website that you can look at to kind of, I mean, you can like Google how to like predict what the account balance will be after like a 30-year career or wherever you are at in your career. I work in government, so we have a different retirement savings tool available to us. It's called a 457, but it basically works similar. But if we just look at let me just show you. What is this? trpcweb.com. This is just one of many calculators you can use. Retire 457.html. No? Okay. TRPC web. I just randomly like Googled this tool one day, but maybe it's not gonna work. Let's do 401k estimator. Someone's joined the lobby of the meeting. Oh, NerdWallet. We love NerdWallet. So this is important to understand for people that are earlier in their career. Let's say you are currently, let's say Giorgio is currently 27 years old. And Giorgio's annual income is, let's say, $35,000. Whoops. And he has nothing in his retirement account right now. Every month, we want to, let's say we can afford to put aside $50. Every month, we're gonna put aside $50 of our paychecks towards this retirement account. Our employer is gonna match that contribution, so they're gonna be putting free money into this account, matching what we are contributing. Employer match limit. I think generally 6% is good. We're gonna retire, let's say at age 67. Estimated rate of return, we'll just put in what their default is. And if we do this, we can expect to have $270,000 of investment account balance by the time we retire. I don't know if this tool accounts for increases in wages over the lifetime of your career. I know the tool that I used did. What if we try a different one? What's bank rate? Time to engage heating and chair getting kind of cold. Do you have a chair heater? What does this one do? You can play with different tools like this and see kind of in general how they calculate how much do you contribute each month. A good goal to shoot for is 15% of your pay. Let's pretend we're all stars and we're gonna contribute 15% of our pay. I have a chair with a heater and vibration. Oh my goodness. Okay, this one accounts for salary increases. So let's say we expect on average to get a 2% raise every year. I think we said Giorgio is 27 years old. We can retire at age 65. Expected rate of return, we'll keep that. Current balance is 0. Employer match, 50%, sure. Salary limit for employer match, 6%, sure. So when our calculator accounts for us getting annual raises every year, we could have $750,000 in this account by the time we retire. The key is to start now. Start as soon as you can. Contribute as much as you're able, and you can get, over the lifetime of your career, with compounding interest and investing, you could have a substantial account of retirement savings. This is huge. Do not skimp on this. Especially if your employer is matching contributions. Because if you don't take advantage of your employer matching contributions, you're leaving money on the table. You're missing out on free money. So that's very important to be thinking about this. And by doing this budgeting and understanding what you can afford to save every month, you can judge how much you're able to put towards a retirement account. Yeah, free money! Don't miss out on free money. I do have to join this call, so let me make sure my camera is off. And I will click the Teams meeting and mute. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, I'm muted. Let me mute.
Alright.
Let me. Hang on.
On the nose.
Okay. Speakers are muted. So I think, I don't know how much more content I have for this budgeting tool. I think we covered just about everything. So if you're interested in having this template, I will upload this with blank data, or I'll upload a version with this fake data and also a blank version for you guys to do whatever you want with if you're interested. Feel free to ask me any questions. Let me know if you need any help. I think this is really important for everyone to understand, no matter what your financial situation is. And with that, we will find someone to raid. Thank you all for being here and hanging out with me. I'll see who's out there. Carrot is on. We will go raid Carrot Cleric. He's probably crocheting something.
Bye, chat.
So I will see you guys next time, whenever that may be. It's gonna be whenever I feel like it. So bye, chat. Bye.